And imagine the next 10 years, right? Like as baby boomers continue to age, it's an industry that needs a lot of love and care, and the right kind of love and care.
It doesn't need the jumpers in, seniors, that's a high, money making. No, like you have to really like it.
From a place of empathy and understanding and reverence, right? I think it really does, because if it's just coming from a place of ROI, like some venture capitalist comes in and is like, we're going to make money. That's coming from a bad place of, what their intentions are.
I've always thought, and I will probably, I've always told Stuart, if I die with a dime in my pocket, it's a dime of fun I didn't have, and I'd be super bummed, I think if you invest, then you can invest in the right reasons, which is people.
Yeah.
For a reason, a niche market, whatever you're going to do, then it'll be successful. So that's AKA at home. So that's what it's doing.
We're back. I am your host, Jason Thibodeau, with the Mortgage Lounge. We don't always talk about mortgage. And in fact, I don't always like to talk about mortgage. Not my favorite thing after 22 years, but you can learn a lot from me nonetheless. Today we have a guest who I've been wanting to chat with for a while now. We've been talking about getting on camera together for a bit here. And this all started because you came in with Stuart. And I'm curious how that interview went, because I never got to see it, by the way. But Simone Kelly is joining us today. She's a fellow entrepreneur who's done really well. I grew up in the industry watching her at broker preview meetings and different events. And back then, she had owned an estate sale company. Yes. Correct me if I'm wrong. Currently, since then, she's sold that company somewhat recently, back in 2022, I think, late 2022. And now she owns a few different companies, but I think it's all under the same kind of genre of the senior community. But I don't want to speak for you. So if you can, just give us kind of like a high-level overview, and we'll get into it. Hi, Simone.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
So yes, it's all in the senior base type community. I love seniors, so
yeah, and they need
super
to be
easy.
Properly cared for too.
They do, and we have so many years ahead of us to figure out how we do that.
Yeah,
because the industry is getting, or has been, extremely saturated. And then you have Google searches that people they try to search for things. My mom broke a hip, what do I do? And then they get all these paid ads, and then they just get frustrated, and they make the most expensive mistake ever by just saying, forget it, I'm just going to do this and hire this. And then, $300,000-$400,000 down the road, you're still not in the position you need to be in. So I started after Grayson's. After I sold that, I stayed there for about a year. And then they asked me to stay on for another 6 months for consulting.
And this is the estate sale company.
Yeah, Grayson's. Yeah. And
did you stay?
I stayed for that year so that they couldn't mess with the franchisees. Yeah. I wanted to make sure, because when I sold, I had 32 franchises. And so I wanted...
Simone, I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah.
Gosh, you're so you come off as very soft-spoken and humble. So it's kind of cool, to be able to learn this stuff about you.
Yeah, I'm not a bragger.
I know, I could tell.
I prefer to be not behind the camera. So then I waited. I wanted to make sure they got to 50, because I knew on 50 franchises, they couldn't make too subtle of changes, like massive changes all at once. Because 50 franchises, if you know anything about franchising, changing locations of 50 of just a simple change, whether it's social media or the way you train or something, it'll throw a wrench in the entire system. And so when I got to the 1 year that we were at 52, and then they asked me to stay another 6 months in consulting, and I lasted 2 more months.
Yeah.
Corporate is just
2 more months.
Yeah, it was not my thing. I like to build businesses and pivot where the business goes, right?
Yeah.
Seniornicity, which is the one I started right after
Seniornicity?
It's Seniornicity.
Okay. Like synchronicity, or a plan works,
That's
right?
so funny you said that. Yeah. So I'm really big on names. Yeah. I'm super big on names, and I was driving my car, and they have that dashboard thing that says whatever the name of the album is and whoever released, and it was like Synchronicity was the album, and I was like, and I was racking my brain on what was going to call this directory, and I'm like, Synchronicity. I'm like, oh, a seniornicity.
I like the sound of it.
I love it.
Yeah.
But then I looked up the meaning of synchronicity, and I'm like, but that's okay. Well, just that sounds
synchronicity
really cool.
means cool too, right? It's isn't it like a alignment or?
It is alignment from what I can remember, it's alignment in like kind of a macabre way. It's not like...
Forgive my ignorance. What does that mean?
No, trust me. I named a whole company after it.
A macabre poet would be Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
But I like that vibe. I'm all about that stuff, so I'm into it.
It's cool. And when I started it, and we started building it out with the developers, and what a nightmare! I swear, building technology. I had not done that. I've built websites and social media.
Were you building out an actual website, or what were you building out?
The entire site is coded. I swear, there's probably 25 different platforms. It drives me crazy. Like, I was so used to WordPress, where you just go in and you drop and go and change this verbiage, and everything's a code. I honestly would never do that again.
Yeah,
ever. It was very frustrating. You never know what you're dealing with in tech.
How long did that take you to get it off the ground?
It should have taken me about 4 months. It took them probably a year.
Wow.
To where it was really functioning.
Okay.
And it still needs, for me, because I have such great expectations, I would say, I could build it forever. But that's the problem with tech. You have to know when this stuff.
There's a never ending. Yeah.
Right. Because, that's a nice. So there was like this theory of like what you want, what's nice to have, and what you need.
Yeah.
Right.
And it all costs money too.
Yeah, especially, when you're dealing with like developers, especially in the United States.
Yeah.
They're not. And I was dealing with the United States and not going overseas because I thought,
Do you regret that decision at all, or is that something you want to talk about?
I regret the person I hired, I'll be honest. I know I shouldn't say that. And I should be like, it's wonderful. No, I do. But I do have a gentleman that I've hired from Argentina. He's amazing. Young, I think he's probably like 24, 25 years old.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And really went offshore because I was like, I can speak to people offshore just like I can to you. I'm not like that. We're not in the same office.
I'm telling you, Simone, when we were first diving into what all this is from a social media management standpoint, I interviewed a bunch of people for edits and managing our pages for our salespeople and our branch, and dealing with the Google profiles and Zillow profiles and all the other platforms, LinkedIn, all the rest, right? Obviously, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. It's a lot of plates you have to spin. And I would sit down with folks here locally, looking people up on Yelp and whatever else, and they charge 10 to 15x what my social media manager, who I ended up hiring in the Philippines, shout out to Vivian, virtual assistant, and probably one of the hardest working human beings I've ever met. And the quality of work is really stellar.
Quality of work, the passion for their work.
Yeah.
The majority have college degrees, which people don't understand.
Yeah.
They just make
They're
lot
all well
less.
educated.
Well, cost of living is so less down there, so they make a lot less than what we do out here. But
yeah, what's a US dollar worth in the Philippines, or you know what I mean? Yeah.
It's pretty insane. I mean, I think that I will offshore a lot in the coming years when it comes to technology, social media, and there's so much change. I mean, it's really...
It's hard to keep up with the change, too. It is.
You could get really distracted. AI. Well, we've had AI forever. It's not like we just now call it the buzzword AI, right? Yeah. We've had operations manual. Now we call them playbooks. Oh, okay, big word right now. I mean, AI's been here forever. So
algorithms at the end of the day. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all just the same thing. It's just now it's more mainstream.
Yeah.
Right. But I see websites going up daily in regards to just different companies coming out. They have no intention of doing anything with it. They're like, I just want you to build me a website so I can make money. That doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it reminds me of loan officers and real estate agents when they get their license, They're like, hey, it's been 6 months. How come I'm not making money? I'm like, what? You know how this works, right? It's not the act of getting your license that creates the money.
Right.
You actually have to go do work. And the first 6 months, sorry, you're barely scratching the surface. Let's talk in 6 years and see how you're doing. You know what I mean? People like the instant gratification piece of like
an attorney.
Yeah.
They always think I got my law degree. Now I'm going to make millions.
No.
It's so hard to be an attorney, like to get that business built up. You have to find your niche.
It's been a grind for me for 20 years, and it's starting to feel less of a grind. It's still hard work. It's never not going to be hard work.
Yeah.
But you are operating from a different place, like 15, 20, 25 years in my opinion, because there's a level of experience now that comes with more sophistication, right? I don't know if you can relate to that, but...
I understand that. And you're less tolerant but more patient, if that makes sense, right? Like everything we do at 50 is contradictory, because we're like, well, I'm more patient because I'm just not bothered.
Yeah.
Right? That's my patience. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right? And
which is a good thing.
Right.
Emotional reactivity in business and entrepreneurship makes it really tough to get anything done, right? With every little thing bothering you and having you emotionally respond to something, first of all, you're going to wear out your nervous system.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then you're not sleeping. And then you're not sleeping, so your nervous system's even more shot, and now your mood's dropped. Like it could be a vicious cycle. So you really do have to choose your you pick and choose your battles.
Well, I mean,
and I want to hear about your company too.
No, I know. I totally know. I'm like, I do it all day. We'll get back to that. But I think when we get older, at least me, that every business I build or whatever, I just happen to find what I'm good at, right? I mean, people do hair, people do, sales, they do whatever, you do loans, but it's your confidence, right? And so when I walk in, I know I'm the best at what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like so that's where it's like, well, I guess I could be competitive, but I need to find a room that's a little bigger, right? And so you try to find those other rooms that can scale you even bigger, because it's harder as the more you learn and the more you go to get in the right room, because if you stick within the same room,
you're not going to grow.
No, you're not. And people are tired of it, right? It's like oh God, Stuart always says, like, there's this lady, her kids would sell Girl Scout cookies, right? And she'd be like, oh, Stuart, you got my like 20 boxes. He's like, oh God, it's that time of year again, right? So it's like, you start another business, people are like, oh, great, just starting another business. Like they just get tired of it, right? And so you have to grow outside of your comfort zone. I do realize over the years that growing my businesses were really grown by strangers.
Yeah.
Like I had obvious help with my whole sphere of influence and the broker previews and the people I've worked with, but where the actual growth happened, which was strangers, people who didn't know me but saw my resume on LinkedIn or whatever they did and went, that's it, or saw the business.
You're putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
And you're touching on an important piece for people to hear. I can relate to what you're saying. Because one thing that I've always done for me personally is I can't keep doing the same thing for the rest of my life. I get bored. There's this giant sense of purpose that I had as a loan officer when I was in my 20s and even my 30s, maybe to a certain extent. But I noticed at a certain point that drive started waning, started going away. And I knew I couldn't get out of the business because it's like, well, I just spent 20 years building this thing, Right. So what do I need to do to create more passion? So instead of being the one-man show loan officer, it's like, well, let me build a branch. Now let me build a branch in Idaho. Now let me build a branch in Utah. Let me build a branch in Minnesota. Now we got 30 salespeople. Let me build a studio, right? Like that's where I can start to like get behind it again. Because like if everyone's different. But sometimes I'll see an older man who's like 55, 60, 65 years old still doing the loan officer thing. And I'm like, how? How are you still doing it that way? Like it's almost like it's a young man's sport because you want to have that youthful ignorance to a certain extent where you're just like, go, 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 go. I know too much. I've been through too much. And I'm like, I literally realtors will call me and Jason, call this person. I'm like, I have just the guy for you. Here's Dan. Like for me, I love scaling something rather than just pigeonholing myself into the one identity. I don't want to be identified as just a loan officer for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work for me.
I get it.
So
I get it.
Resonates for me with what you were sharing.
Yeah,
right?
no, it makes sense. And you're helping others build their business.
Yeah, a little bit more sense of purpose.
There is.
Yeah.
And I always said to my brother, like when we started estate sales, we're like, I actually started as a lending company.
You were in lending. Oh,
That's right. I started, I worked for a
forgot
company
about
called
that.
Tricor, and Robbie and Tom and
Shout
Doug
out to
and
the
Joe.
Beach
Yeah. They were working upstairs. They were working the retail. Well, I was working the retail. They were working wholesale. But
They weren't in this building, were they?
no, they're on one off of Center Avenue across from Costco.
Yeah. Right.
And so I started there, and then it got really big. There was only 4 of us, and then it got to like 200 agents. And then the owner was like, so angry all the time, and just the
stressed
guy
out.
like literally built, like, from my understanding, he was like sold stereos out of his car, and then built this lending company.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's like pulling up front with this Ferrari, and he's like
Gotcha.
getting his suits done in the conference room as you walk up in the front. Yeah, it was just insane. I'm
That's
like,
taking things too far.
yeah, I was like, whatever. But hey, he's enjoying himself.
Yeah.
I drove like this old beater truck, like it was like a Toyota truck, and every day he'd be like, Simone,
You need a better.
we need to get a better car. And I'm like, why? I'm like, here, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it doesn't
and I'm their
matter.
top agent. Like, hello, like, I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
none of it. He wanted everybody in debt. When are you going to get a new car?
Oh,
When
so
are you
you're a
gonna
little
get
more
married?
motivated,
Because you
but
needed him
It sounds
more.
like you didn't need that motivation to be hardworking.
No, sales was the last journey I needed to take to start my own business. I started I knew what I wanted to do very young. And so I started as a receptionist, and then I went to payroll, then I went to loan servicing, I went to non-union contracting, office management to union.
So you have a good depth of experience from all those
I
different
can build a
roles. Yeah.
business from the ground up.
Yeah.
My favorite job is receptionist.
That's so funny.
It's so fun,
It's fun, right? Like if you're a people person, which I'm picking up on this that you are, it's easy to connect on a human level with you, and that makes you a people person. And I can totally relate to that, because I can tell you when I'm feeling depressed or like my mood is low,
Yeah.
if I jump on a call or have a meeting or do something like this, I leave those moments way happier. You know what I mean? And that for me is like why I do this. I love being a conversationalist. I love understanding more about what makes people tick and their stories. And I always learn something, with what you're sharing. I do. And we find out we have kind of alignments, or we know the same people we didn't realize, or, we end up working together somehow. There's all kinds of different things that can come from this. And that's why I enjoy it.
I think when COVID happened, we realized how important human interaction was.
That's a good point.
Luckily, we live in Huntington Beach, so it was pretty wide open.
Yeah.
No one was really catering to that
Yeah.
that type. But it's still, I think it maybe cut down maybe 50% of our interaction, because we couldn't go out and have meals.
All that.
Yeah, terrible. I can't tell you how horrible that's been for industries, people working from home. I look at structures as people, right? Like buildings and houses or whatever, especially those big high rises.
Yeah.
When they sit empty, and when they sit empty, they die, right?
Yeah.
There used to be this show on, it was like National Geographic, and it used to be like what life would be like after 5 years of no humans, 10 years of no humans, 20 years.
Yeah.
It was fascinating. Like they did all this like digital remake of it, and they would just show like the plants overtaking and the buildings starting to grade, the plumbing going down. It's super, like I look at those buildings that are empty still to this day from COVID, and I think what mass destruction that will happen for the next 50 plus years.
Yeah, I know. Unintended consequences for sure.
Just the communication between others.
Yeah. Well, isolation's tough, right? And sometimes people don't even realize it when they're feeling isolated. And we are social creatures at the end of the day. We're tribal, right? Mm-hmm. We need a sense of community and belonging, a sense of purpose. Yeah. And when you're always holed up in your house, I don't necessarily think that's conducive for well-balanced mental health. Unless like you're working from home and you also hybrid go into the office and have a lot of other extracurricular activities at home or outside of the house, that's fine, right? But some folks are, extreme introverts, and being given the opportunity to work from home Monday through Sunday, they're at the house and they're going out to the grocery store or whatever, and that's about it. Yeah. So that can like really allow for, depressive episodes, I'll call it. I know I experienced that during COVID. I don't know about you. I was having a rough time.
I am an extreme introvert.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm going to call you a hybrid. I'm going to call you a hybrid.
Awfully introvert.
Yes. But
That's a good one.
I'm
That's
not
a good
an
one.
introvert.
Yeah, I prefer isolation. I prefer people standing in front, not me. I used to when I was
I always sit at the back of the,
yeah, but when I used to go to the Christmas prices, I owned like the Remaxes and the Lendings and stuff, and we had to go to all the Christmas parties.
That's my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just, you're as the broker, you're kind of like, our broker's here, But I always have my Raquel, who's my escrow officer, and I'm like, okay, we got like 20 minutes, and then you're gonna like go take a call, take a call, be like, we got to go. We got to get back to the office. I'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like every time. Because I was like, I just didn't like that forwardness.
There's a difference with human interaction on a larger scale like that versus a more intimate scale. Like what I mean by that is we're going to have this forecast event on January 20th with Stephen Thomas and a couple other speakers. You better be there. There's going to be hundreds.
Where?
Middle Arc Golf Course, January 20th. We'll talk about it off camera.
Okay, yeah, because no one told me.
You'll get the invite. But it's hundreds of people. I got to work the room, and for me, that's completely exhausting. Completely exhausting. I can't wait for it to be over. And then there's like an exhale at the end of it where I'm like, oh, thank God, and I'm pretty useless for the rest of the day. But if you bring close friends of ours over and there's 6, 8, 10 people at my house and we're doing a barbecue and we're playing board games, we're hanging out, we're laughing, that kind of socializing where it's like human connection thing rather than just surface level stuff. If it goes a little bit deeper, then I'm into it, right? It's the surface level stuff where I'm good at working a room, but it's nothing that I'm like really want to do, if that makes sense. This I prefer doing because we're having more meaningful discussion.
Correct.
That I can get behind. It's just it's the Christmas parties, like it makes me cringe.
Yeah, if it's not intellectually stimulating, I'm not going to. Games, cool if they're intellectually stimulating. I'm a huge puzzler.
Yeah.
I started a 24,000 piece puzzle. It literally goes like these two walls, like that wall right there. So that comes in like packs of 6,000.
Are you done? Or are you
I just finished the first section of 6,000.
Wow.
And so I'm like literally taking because I have a workout room and I'm taking the stuff out of the workout room so that I could put the puzzle there and it comes in 4 sleeves, right?
Yeah.
So you have to connect the 3 together to make the common 4.
That is definitely.
So it needs a whole, because when I finished the first one, I could do it on my dining room table, right? On a piece of plywood. But when you go to the second one, you have to connect those pieces and it has to continue. You can't just build the second one separately and try to connect it.
You're building on the original one.
Right, and all the stuff will crumble.
Yeah.
So
my version of that is Lego pieces. We did that during COVID, like giant 3,000, 4,000, or 5,000 piece exotic cars and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool. Wait, did you do it like freehand?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I love that. It's so funny you said Legos. I have literally, oh my gosh, those storage bins? I have probably 20 full storage bins of it.
Yeah, we have a lot of that at home. Well, it was nice because my boys at the time were, I don't know, they were like 8 and 6. They're 12 and 14 now. And we had to figure out something to do, so we were building a lot of major league Lego sets, mainly cars and stuff.
You guys watch Lego Masters?
No. We probably should.
Kids love that. Like, we get so excited. I remember the one year they had.
Getting older now is the problem, so they kind of like, now it's basketball and all that.
We're always like, there was a season, there's an Asian group. I don't even know if I can talk about this. So you can cut it if you want. But they were amazing. Like, literally, I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing.
I believe it.
But they would not give them, like, the win. The entire season. Like, every season, like, every show, they would have a winner.
Yeah.
And they never would. And it was clearly, right. So the internet went crazy.
Yeah,
like, Asian hate. Like,
right. They made it racial. Sorry, guys.
So, like, the next year or two.
Here, by the way. I'm going to make you segue back to your business because I can't forget to ask about this. I really want to understand.
Oh, okay.
Because I know you're into the senior community.
I am, yes.
And I want the audience to hear what it is you're building and what you're doing. The way I understand it, because I want you to speak about this, is like you're trying to create a resource center for senior communities. Like you're referring to, like when something happens, people don't know where to turn.
Right.
And that's where they're setting themselves up potentially for failure financially, and they're not going to get the result they want taking care of their parents or themselves. Is that somewhat correct?
It is. It is. It's a directory. We have 6 that we highlight, providers. And then we also have a home service provider section that has like probably 100 categories. And those are like your dog walkers, your window washers, your maid services, food deliveries, stuff like that. The primary providers are the ones that are going to help you make that really important decision, which is whether I downsize, do I age in place, do I go to assisted living, do I have dementia, do my parents have dementia, do they have Alzheimer's? And so all of those components together, you're either going to do real estate, which is a buy or sell the home, or downsize. So you're going to do lending, which is the other category, which is what you're in, or you're going to do a bridge loan because they haven't sold their home yet, but they need to move to a smaller home or facility, or your reverse mortgages. And those have gotten much better, by the way, when I was in it.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of them.
They're great. I love them now, but back then they were terrible when they first came out.
Yeah, they've been modernized.
They were really exploited.
Yeah, exactly is the problem with the senior abuse is the word,
bad.
right?
Like you couldn't
really
get out
sad.
of those things.
Yeah, and the senior community is so susceptible to that stuff, you know.
They are much more educated. It's interesting. I was looking. I had to do a meeting with a major brand that it's a portfolio. It holds 6 huge brands underneath it yesterday. And the statistics that I had to pull for this meeting was like 90% of seniors are on social media. That's a lot. When people think about it, they don't think that they're on. They are on it. Well, 85% of them will not do business with somebody who is not active on social media.
Ah, interesting.
So businesses don't think about that. We really try with Seniornicity to push people to get in front of cameras. Like, I mean, I am an introvert. I don't like the cameras. I'm very judgy of myself. Thanks. I don't know about that, but thank you. And I think like when you start talking about how many seniors are out there looking for information, and then you go like, what do I do if my kids live out of California? Let's say they live in Wyoming, right? And they only come home for the holidays or whatever. But I want to stay in California, but my house is big. I can't, I can't do everything. And doing estate sales, I learned firsthand, it's not the degrading of the human being, right, in the body so much, right? It's the degrading of the surroundings around them. It's almost like that show I talked about with the 5 years, 10 years when humans aren't around. They're not going upstairs. So that upstairs and all those bathrooms and the fixtures and the linen closets and everything just starts to get really musty and dust mites, and it's almost like a travel downstairs because they've taken over the upstairs. And so we've seen that so much in estate sales where people are in their big homes and they're not utilizing the upstairs. So then on that side we do have property managers where if they're going to stay there, property managers get to maintain the upstairs of that property.
So that's interesting. So like property managers will actually, even when they're staying and living in place, right, they'll help maintain.
Yeah, they're hybrid. I mean, you have a lot of property managers out there that think one way, right? That's what we talked about, your wife's escrow company, right? I'm like, is she going to go outside the box? Because I can get her outside the box on that too. Yeah. But like property management, I'm so weird. Like I always like to plug these holes.
I love it though. It's great. I can see the way your mind works.
Like, bam,
there's a reason you're an entrepreneur. Okay, Simone.
Crazy one. But so I look at property management and say, yes, you can rent out the whole home, subsidize because they're going to downsize. And then that asset, because the idea is to keep the family, not just the senior, happy. Yeah. Keeping the siblings happy is what's going to give you the business, right? And it's going to make the right decision for mom or dad, right? If you sell, they're always like, let's sell the home. Okay, that's great. You sold the home for $400,000. It's going to cost $9,000 for mom a month to live in the facility or place she wants to live in.
That's what it costs too.
Yeah, and you're out of money.
Right.
4 years. So guess what? Now you don't have a house, right? And you have no way of paying that $9,000. Yeah. And what? In 4 years, mom's going to move right in with you like she shouldn't have to begin with. Yeah, yeah. And so don't sell the house. And I know this isn't very comfortable for realtors to say, but what realtors need to realize at some point is like, when you're building that book of business, if you're truly a realtor, that's going to be a professional realtor. That's what
you've got to build it the right way.
You've got to build it
right. It's the
with
long
longevity.
Game. It's the long game.
Yeah. Exactly. And if you do that,
it's not instant gratification way, but it's way deeper roots.
Yes.
And the blossoming when it does happen is way more fulfilling and abundant.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. And building it with a team. You
What
should.
they call this, Simone?
What?
Do you know what they call this? What we're talking about here? Synchronicity.
Oh, I love
I'm feeling
that.
some synchronicity.
While dealing
What's
with
the name of your company?
Seniornicity.
That's right.
I actually bought the name Senior City too.
Oh, Senior
because
City.
people kept spelling it wrong.
You know, I actually like Senior City because I could imagine how some seniors might have a hard time with that word.
Yeah.
Seniornicity, right?
Yeah, Senior City and Seniornicity. I have played with, I mean, seriously.
You have both
since I-
domains or no?
What?
You could have both domains working for the
I
same.
do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hello.
So, how are we promoting this other than the word of mouth like this? How do people find the website, and what kind of like obvious low hanging fruit things would they want to think about when they should be using your resources and your website?
So, like, we have caregivers on there, caregiver facilities. We don't have, like,
At home,
Susie, the caregiver, on there. We have their actual, like,
actual centers, yeah.
yeah, that send out
And those
caregivers.
people are paying to be on the platform or whatever.
Yeah,
Got it.
that's subscription based.
Yeah.
And we do have a free model. That's just really to get you ranking higher, validity on Google, right? Google's looking for you to be on niche directories now since August 1st. So you go, okay, well, I need to be on, I can't be on a plumbing site. I'm a lender, or I'm a realtor. So I really want to be on niche ones that work with seniors because I'm a senior placement person, right? And so Google looks at for that reason, you list it on not just Seniornicity, but any site that has senior credibility, right? Like there's a lot of them out there that have like, they've imported a whole bunch of data and nobody's really on there and they're just trying to get people in. Where ours are, we have 4,200 providers. They've all signed up.
Wow.
And they've done an okay job at getting their profiles up, but it's hurting them because when you put your name on a like a software like that, that's going to rank you, right? If you don't put your full name, your picture, your biography of what you do, and it matches where your other pages are,
Yeah.
and you just lollipop up your name and just say, okay, and I'm a senior transition, and that's it,
Yeah.
Google's going to think you're lazy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They're going to think that was
Well, there
imported
needs to
data.
be, and there needs to be blogging happening, right? Updated information being provided on a regular basis. We're working on that stuff right now as well.
You
Just to
have
make sure we can actually
have
be
to.
located in either Google search or some form of AI search, depending on what the platform is.
Chat,
Yeah.
Rock. Perplexity is really good at it too. I think I also believe, and I've told the people have listed on there and haven't finished their thing, and I'm pretty upfront. I guess because I don't speak to a lot of people, so I don't care, right?
Yeah.
So like, yes, I lost another one. Well, whatever. But
That's all right. Well, it's working for you, obviously, the way you're showing up.
who knows? I probably have like a trail of tears behind me. I don't know. I try not to look back.
Don't cry over spilt milk.
Move on. And I tell them, like, look, if you're a senior and you're going on and you got just your name on there like you do right now, and senior placement in there, no biography, no nothing.
Yeah.
Again, a senior is going to think you're lazy.
Yeah.
That you can't even take the time to put your logo up or your picture or your biography.
Just like anything else, first impressions are everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
That's your first. That will always be your first impression now.
Yeah.
The internet is the first impression.
Yeah.
Because when you go to these senior events, I've been to thousands of them, you go to them, these seniors aren't going to remember. Even we wouldn't remember. Like, I'm probably a senior anyway, but we wouldn't even remember them, right? Because there's so many people engaging with them.
Yeah.
Right. And they're on it and they're selling them. Right. And they go home and they're like, oh, God,
Overwhelmed.
what happened?
Yeah.
Right. So when you go to this, no, they're going to go to the internet and they're going to be like, what's this card again? And they're going to go and look it up. And that's how they're going to remember you, the internet.
Yeah.
So if you're listed on a site or even on your own site and you don't have all your information in there for them to easily read, larger fonts, things like that, they're not going to look at you. You don't have a click to call.
Totally.
Forget it.
Totally.
Moving on to the next one. They don't care. They're looking on their phone or their tablet. They're like, call.
Yeah.
So
That's really good advice.
I think in Seniornicity, back to that, what we look at it as is like it's a LinkedIn and an Angie's list for seniors.
Yeah,
So
makes
they don't have to go to Google and try to parse all that out or go to chat and meet a new friend. And then they got you going down the rabbit hole of chat.
Yeah.
How are you feeling today? Like,
I don't necessarily think that the senior community is going to be all up to speed and embracing of artificial intelligence searches, you know?
You have to teach it.
The younger generation, of course, right? But depending on what your client demographic is, in this case, seniors, they're not going to be pouring into AI, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong.
No,
but
they're not. And it really, it's what it's been taught, right?
yeah,
And so chat in any of those groups that you do emails, you do projects, and you do have to go over it vigorously because they're pulling things from what other people have put in there.
yeah,
So it's learning from misinformation, right? And then it's parsing out that misinformation as it grows.
yeah.
So
How did you get all your clients? So this all came from your time in the estate sale business, I would assume, because you are dealing with the senior community. Obviously, they're kids too, mostly, because maybe in the estate.
what all came from?
Well, like, how did you come to the idea of wanting to create a seniornicity? Like, was this because of your time in the estate business?
Well, when I was doing estate sales, like I talked about the houses being degraded, right? And then the person becomes degraded. You know, they can't wash their dishes anymore because their hands don't fit in, whether they have, you know, arthritis or whatever it is. They don't have the energy. No one's coming over to visit them, right? And so I thought aging, everybody always says like aging, oh, I'm old. I'm like, I'm so grateful every day. I'm like, oh, my eyes are open, damn.
You can still function and you're high functioning.
Right.
Yeah.
You should be excited, right? And so my idea for seniornicity was like, that's why it's bright and it's not that, you know, hospital blue with the yellows and all that. So because it's like, aging can be fun. Now, I know there are dementia, Parkinson's, and
conditions,
all those
medical
things, but
conditions,
regardless, and I know it's going to sound terrible, but I'm like Alzheimer's, right? Like, what a great thing for me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, every day's brand new. I mean, it's like that 9 dates or however many. Remember that show? What's her name?
That's Groundhog's Day thing too. Yeah,
the same thing. And so I know that sounds awful because like people are like, it's such a horrible disease, and it is. But I am on the side of optimism by default, right? And so when it goes to the extreme like that, right? So when you're aging or you're getting older like us, we should still be able to have fun. So people look at these facilities, and nobody likes to call them facilities, but they're facilities. They have different functionalities for whatever place you're at. Look for the one that's fun for you. Like if you like puzzling, make sure they got a giant puzzle room. You know, that'd be me. If you like, you know, swimming, make sure they have a swimming pool. If you like, I don't know, playing bingo, make sure they do bingo once a week, right? Dancing, make sure they have a dance group, right?
Yeah.
And so these things can be fun for people.
And they find all of that information on your
and they're not home alone.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. It's funny because 90% of people through an AARP statistic said that drag my dead body out of here. I'm not leaving my house.
Yeah.
Right?
Everyone likes their home.
They like their home. It's comfortable and it's older. You're not capable of so much change at one time.
Yeah.
And I think that's a failure on our side, our generation. And
you know, I'll tell you something on this point. I feel that because we in society today, you know, middle-aged families like myself in our 40s with young kids,
right?
Every once in a while, and we're getting to that stage where my parents and my wife's parents are getting older.
Yeah.
And we're starting to get to a point where her parents are staying with us Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
And of course, grandma is helping out a lot with the kids, which is they love grandma and grandma loves our boys. Yeah. But I'll tell you, it's very noticeable when I'm in the home and I get home from work on a Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, the energy and the vibrancy and the joy in the home is way more elevated when they're there. Because I see my son Charlie, he's just bouncing off the walls and happy to have Tata is Arabic for grandma, so she's Tata, not grandma. If you call her grandma, she'll fight you. But
my mom was the same.
Yeah. So, but the point is, like, it's super noticeable, and it makes you wonder sometimes: are we doing this wrong? You know, like. It takes a village, that old phrase, and it feels like back many, many, many hundreds of years ago, that's what it was. It was a village raising community and kids. And these days, it's like we're all isolated and compartmentalized in our little boxes and looking at our screens and maybe getting to, like, sometimes I'll get home on a Friday night if grandparents aren't around, and I'll see my boys going like this on their phones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nope, we're getting out of the house, and we go have sushi, and they light up and they talk, and then we're more engaged in actually connecting. It's like, but when we're all holed up in the house, like we were talking about earlier, and we're attached to our technology, and we're not connected to family, right? It's like, I don't know that that's the best way of doing things. I really don't.
Well, we tend to, when they start eating, my mom's had like a couple strokes. She had her first major stroke at 55. She had
Oh, wow.
heart attacks. I mean, she had a major accident like 2 years ago.
Oh, she's been through it.
She almost passed. Yeah, she has. And most elders will have something, whether they get a pacemaker, they'll go on different medications or something like that, right, to stay alive. But the hardest part is to get away from the thought of burden, right? Are they a burden? Do you feel like they're a burden? Like your grandma coming, your mom or your wife's mom coming over. It's like, God, I just wanted to come home and kick my feet up and put my boxers on.
There is that too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to know what the answer is there for me because I understand that. But I feel like sometimes in our society, we're always thinking about the individual rather than the community and what's best for community versus individual, right? Something greater than just ourselves. And that's not to say we want to let people run us over and have no boundaries, right? I'm not saying that.
No, for sure.
At the same time, like there's got to be maybe a slightly better way of doing it the way we're doing it. Because
it's opening yourself up to allowing.
Yeah.
It's being unselfish. Why I say
it's
we
a greater
fail.
sense of purpose, isn't it? I think it is.
Well, we fail as a society to help our seniors because we're so focused on our own families.
Yeah.
And our own goals.
Yeah.
And our own desires of
Right.
what we want to do, where we want to go travel, whatever it is. Oh, it's going to take, my mom likes to be called Nana. It's going to take Nana like an hour and a half to eat a plate of food.
Yes.
That's, it's not biter. I mean, and it starts to just compound and compound and compound, right?
Yeah. But what if there was a hybrid situation where you could, like I was having Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we get our own space, then they come midweek and they're helping and everyone's happy. I think it's maybe it's not all or nothing. It's something in between. Because, it's kind of cool when we're sitting at a dinner table with the boys, 12 and 14 years old.
Yeah.
Teta and Jadu, grandma and grandpa, are sitting there sharing their stories, life lessons. Mm-hmm. We're praying, we're saying grace. We don't normally say grace at the table before, like a lot of that stuff.
That's genuine.
Yeah, it's cool for them to experience something else too, other than just mom and dad, and learn from their elders as well. That's the way I feel. And sometimes my grandfather or my stepdad will say something that pisses me off, and I'm like, but if the 30-year version of me and the 25-year-old version of me would have been more emotionally reactive to that. Now that I'm in my 40s, I'm not trying. I don't have a savior complex where I think I need to save the world and change everyone. I'm more just able to hear his perspective and not get caught up in it emotionally. It's like, okay, yeah, interesting, right? That's cool feedback rather than, let me tell you why you're wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm so past that point in my life where it's us versus them all the time.
That's what we talked about earlier. It's confidence. Yeah. You build that confidence when you have that experience. Yeah. So you let people slide.
It does crack me up. We have almost now 8 billion people on this planet. And we're all under the impression that our opinion's the right one.
It's so small.
And it's like, okay, well, I need everyone to agree with me.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I hardly ever look for validation ever.
Yeah, the validation piece is like, I don't know. I'll tell you, I'm at a place in my life where someone can hate my guts and I can still like them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
For sure.
Yeah, I don't need their validation to still appreciate them as a human.
I've always when someone doesn't like me, I would think what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
I'm super cool and fun.
What did I do wrong?
There's something wrong with you.
But it's the same thing.
And at some point, I'm sure there's something I've done, but I don't know what it is because they're not going to tell me.
Yeah.
But I always think there's something wrong with this person.
Yeah. It's the same thing as first day of school kids. Some kids love you and want to do sleepovers and hangouts. Others just think you're the worst, right? Yeah. It's just we're tribal and people are people. And we do need to wrap it up because I think we're running out of time. Is there anything else you would have us know? And where would they find this? Are they just going online and saying Seniornicity and they're typing it in?
Yeah, so there's Seniornicity. There's actually 3 companies. There's Seniornicity, that is a directory for more like business to business. People are building teams under there. Like you as a lender would find a property manager that you work with and you'd call each other a team,
Sounds like
right?
you need to get Lorraine on your website and us too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you build your teams because then you can pick as many categories as you want based on who's on your team, which means you come up all that more.
She just walked in at 11, by the way. You're going to get to meet her.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Perfect. And that's really what seniorness is. It's to take out the minutia of making them excited about aging, whether they're aging in place or moving.
Yeah.
And allowing them to see a core group of providers that can help them with every answer to their next stage, whether aging in place or assisted living. Then there's Estate Sales Near Me, which is an estate sale listing site. And it's keeping the physical estate sales where you go to separate from the online auction.
Okay.
There's a site that does it where they bring them together. And unfortunately, what that's done is crowded out all in-persons. And in-person estate sales
You want to have both.
are important to seniors.
Yeah.
They're community drivers. I mean, I can't tell you how many estate sales, and there'd be like a pack of seniors sitting there drinking coffee. And they'll buy one little thing, but they got to get out.
It's the same as us doing this in person rather than doing some sort of Zoom meeting.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
This is way more impactful, in my opinion.
Right. No, I agree. I agree 100%. And then there's AKA at home, and that's like the branding, and then it's safety. So we do senior home inspection. So we're working with hospitals, insurance companies. The amount of money that hospitals lose by reentry, by a senior falling, right? Seniors, they say 60% of seniors will fall in their house, okay? And they'll go to the hospital, not just fall and be like, oh, bruise, like they're going to the hospital.
Yeah, that's a real fall. Yeah.
When they come back to home, 85% of them will fall again, but they will never come back home. And those falls are all preventable.
Yeah.
And so what we're doing is working with hospitals, caregivers, PTs, OTs, and we're going in and doing a safety home inspection with the rugs, take the rugs out. They have dementia, take all the personal pictures out because they get scared because they don't understand who they're hugging. And it's super sad, but I love it because it's giving them peace of mind, right? Oh, like I said, I'm an optimist, so I look at it differently.
I love the way your lens works and the way you see the world. I will tell you, Huntington Beach and in general the United States, demographically, we are an aging society. You know, the baby boomer generation is an obvious example of that. But on the street that I live in, just 1 mile that way, we just had a neighbor passed away across the street, 92 years old, small business owner in that local community that everyone knew and loved. And then we're helping like take care of mail and trash cans and gardening when the kids are away, but they're all dealing with, you know, the estate situation right now. Across the street, we got snowbirds. I think you call them that because they're spending half their time in Palm Springs. And then next door to us, we have original owners, one of them which lives in a memory care facility for dementia.
Yeah.
That came on suddenly after COVID, and she's home alone now, so we're keeping an eye on her and making sure she's feeling like she's not alone. Yeah. Well,
She's a caregiver?
She's not that old yet. She's in her 70s, but high functioning. So it's just, my point is, though, like, that's just what's around me.
I live right across the street.
Yeah,
Our neighborhood is like old.
I know. That's my point. Like, it's and imagine the next 10 years, right? Like, as baby boomers continue to age, it's an industry that needs a lot of love and care, you know, and the right kind of love and care.
It doesn't need the jumpers in, you know, like, seniors, that's a high, you know, money making. No, like, you have to really like
a place of empathy and understanding and reverence, right? I think it really does, because if it's just coming from a place of ROI, like some venture capitalist comes in and is like, we're going to make money. That's coming from a bad place of, you know, what their intentions are.
I always thought, and I will probably, you know, I've always told Stuart, if I die with a dime in my pocket, it's a dime of fun I didn't have, and I'd be super bummed, you know? I think if you invest, then you can invest in the right reasons, which is people.
Yeah.
For a reason, a niche market, whatever you're going to do, then it'll be successful. So that's AKA at home. So that's what it's doing.
Simone Kelly, that was a real pleasure.
It was really fun. Thank you.
You did really good. Thank you for joining us today, and we're always grateful. And I think it sounds like you already know how to reach Simone Kelly, Seniornicity. We learned a lot today. Thank you, Simone.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
All right.